Most business sectors have returned to business since COVID-19 was declared a pandemic last year, but it is still not business as usual yet. A lot of businesses have had to adjust their operating models to the new normal because of the virus. The film industry is one such sector hardest hit by the pandemic during stricter lockdown levels in the country. Movie theaters shut their doors and there were no film premieres either. We sat down with film enthusiast and expert by right, Emmanuel Tjiya, who had great things to say about the current trends in the industry.
With the pandemic hitting us globally, a lot has changed in filmmaking. So a lot of people were not going to cinemas in the last year or so. So for example, there have been an increase in demand on what we call OTT platforms. And we colloquially refer to them as video-on-demand platforms or streaming services such as Netflix and Showmax in South Africa. So a lot of people then move to those platforms, meaning as creatives in the industry, a lot of content, especially with the movies, have moved to those platforms. Well, with the arrival of the VOD platforms like Netflix and Showmax, there has been an increase in a lot of local movies. You know, there's an appetite for our stories. You know, you think of Black Panther a few years ago. So there have been a lot of local movies and TV productions. I mean, you think of stuff like Blood and Water, A Queen Sono, Sing Seriously Single that debuted on Netflix last year, which was a movie also that was supposed to be traditionally released in cinemas. So those were the current trends. In December, we had How to Ruin Christmas, which actually cleaned up at the SAFTAs. So that's what people are watching.
So are movie theaters becoming obsolete?
I don't think it's an end of an era. I think it's going there. It's going there, but I don't think we will see it immediately. I think maybe it will take the next 10 years, but I mean, you can see a lot of shift in traditional media.
In recent months, we have had many moments that made us proud as South Africans, seeing our actors and filmmakers make a name for themselves abroad. For example, Nomzamo Mbatha and Tusombedu. So should we expect more in the future?
You know, when the pandemic hit, especially locally, there was a lot of uncertainty, especially in the first 2 months, as to what are we going to create, you know. But at the same time, there was a demand for a lot of content because people were sitting at home and, you know, we want an escape. We want to escape into a fantasy because we've been living through a movie. You know, the pandemic has been a movie. So we want to see light stuff that are going to make us escape because mentally, psychologically, even financially, we have been going through a lot. So there is an Aretha Franklin biopic that's coming in August. I think it's going to be released in cinemas. It's called Respect. It's directed by a South African-born director, a female. Her name is Liesl Tommy. It stars Jennifer Hudson. So there is that. Happiness is a 4-letter word that was released in 2016, I think. It is coming back with a sequel, and director Thabang Molaya is still directing it, and Kanye Mbao and Renata Sturman are returning as the stars, so we can expect that later in the year. There is also How to Ruin Christmas, which did very well on Netflix. It is also getting a sequel. I don't know how long this thing is going to continue, but we are definitely going to keep getting content, you know, because initially there were worries that you don't want to see a movie in 10 years of people wearing masks because it's going to be weird. You want to create something classical. So how then do we get to that? And our local industry has figured it out.
Well, that's amazing news for all creatives. The ball is in your court. 2021 and beyond is looking exciting, so consider this your call to lights, camera, action.